Alrighty. So good morning. Today is June 1st, 2025. My name is Ronald Lee Gatewood Jr. and it's Sunday, right, in 2025. So I got my setting on ultra high definition at 30 frames per second, and I'm just gonna do a quick, I guess, little tour about the place that I'm living at right now. So I'll just go ahead and get started with that. But this is my room. I'll turn on the lights and whatnot, and I'm gonna have to set up that thing in a minute so I could just sit and talk. Also, I got my laptop running, and I just want to show my level for my PUBG account. So I'll pull that up and let that load as well. Anyways, let's see. Oh, I could switch the damn camera thing? That's interesting. I didn't know that. I think I did that on accident. Huh. Okay. So anyways, let me just do a quick little tour about where I'm at. Squeeze out so that way you get the full spectrum view. The name of this program that I'm at right now is called Peaceful Path Living, and there's a little sticker that shows its name. So there's that, property of Peaceful Path Living. It's a kind of like an infancy program in the sense that it's kind of new, but this is the kitchen, and those are some other people's rooms that I don't want to get into. There's the washer and dryer in that little cabinet. This is the living room, and some people just left, so they took the TV and their PlayStation, which is completely reasonable. I guess let me just do a little view about the outside. And the front is literally just a driveway that goes up to the main street that goes up to Olive. And I gotta keep these doors locked and whatnot, but anyways, there's my bike locked up, and I know you could barely see it, but there's another RV right there, and one that's not exactly inhabited at the moment. And they just got an electrical cord with a whole new breaker system, so that way they could have air conditioning, since it's literally summer starting right now. There's a little garage. It's kind of messed up, but this is the backyard, and it's pretty simple. It should be clean right now, and it is, because there's like half the people here at the moment since the whole family just left, and that's about it. And then in my room, I have a bathroom. So obviously, compared to what the heck I had before, right, a little shower, stand-up shower, and then there's another restroom that I don't really use, but obviously if this one's occupied, you'd have to use the other one. So main reason why I'm doing this right now, because it's super hella convenient that I'm pretty much the only one here. Oh yeah, let me just pull that up as well. PUBG Battlegrounds, and I got Helldivers 2 and Grand Theft Auto 5 online or whatever there, but like it's just not the same, and I gotta pull that out as well. All right, so give me a moment. I have this little device, I think it's in my backpack, and it could hold my camera for me. That way I could just sit and talk into it. Yeah. All right, so there's that. I think it's in here. All right, this little thing can actually just like fit on this, but I actually might use this thing because it's a little shorter. Old as fuck. This thing I would just literally lay on my chest. And yeah, give me a moment. Gotta screw this in. Alright, that's secure in place. screw it open, and voila, it's all one thing. Now I just slide this in here, and I'm gonna start making shuffle videos. So I got multiple tripods that I'm gonna use for this camera on my Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Oh, see, that works out great. This is what it looks like now, so that's kind of neat. And this is literally just for show right here. Let me see. Here's my little account character for PUBG Battlegrounds, and this is my laptop, the Acer Predator Helios 300. And my level at tier 1 is level 175, and I've been fighting players that have a full 2,500 instance that they're tier 5 and level 500, which I think is the max level, but hours that I got in is like 300. I think I could just check that since this is Steam. I'm getting used to keyboard and mouse, and I kind of always used to use this controller. Look at that, 3,000 or 339 hours, where some people have like fucking 3,000 or even more, you know. And 10,000 hours is like 4 years worth of gameplay, and this game is, I think, almost 7 years old or 8 years old or something like that. But here's my official Xbox Elite Series 2 controller that I was kind of used to, but like I said, I literally just hopped over to using just the keyboard and mouse, because there's fucking players that are just more reflexive. They have a much better, how does that look so far? They have a better reaction time than I do using just keyboard and mouse. And honestly, I don't want to get too much into PUBG because it's a game that does take skill, and despite the hackers and cheaters that may be there and we have to deal with, I'm talking about what the crazy amount of hours that you would have to put in just to get to fucking 3,000 hours or some shit like that, days worth or years worth of time just playing the game. And this is kind of hard for me to adjust, but I hope that's about right. Let me see what it looks like. It's still looking kind of up. Yeah, no, I need that to look down more now. Oh, that looks pretty good. It's still kind of crooked. I haven't used this thing in a long time. It's really old, but it still works, especially when I'm like laying in bed and just want to watch a movie. But so while nobody is here, and I think that looks okay. Yeah, got lights on and whatnot. So while no one's here, it's great for me. Like, I have a roommate, but he's not here. The manager's not here. And hold on. Even just to close that, because I don't even want people to listen. Because this is just me showing where I'm at now and showing where I was, and then just disclosing that this is a temporary particular program. I got into this particular program through the Salvation Army, another, I guess, portal way to get into a program like this would be through Family Services Association. And I'm not really fond of programs like this, because you can consider this, even though it's technically called a rapid rehousing program, it's very akin to a sober living home. But there's no programs that you have to do like that. You just have to sign a set of agreements and whatnot. But you got to think about a place like this, such as like a sober living program or a halfway house. But a halfway house is more for people that have criminal backgrounds and some other kind of serious issues. But anyways, it's not like that. Technically, if this wasn't as nice as it is right here in the city of Redlands, just a block from McKinley Elementary and the Olive Market, which I haven't gone to, I wouldn't be here, you know. So obviously, in the sense that this is temporary, it's a 6-month program. I looked at the date from when I got a call, or when I called the manager to get after I got approved for this, because where I was obviously in a field. The video, my real life video vlog 7, shows me showing you where my home was for 2 years, and it's not the Wash, but a lot of the people that were here, and some of them are gone now, came from the Wash. And in the sense that this is in its infancy, this literally started like maybe December just last year in 2024. At the end of my Liberty Tax job that I had, that I knew was ending because tax season was ending around April 16th, and it did end. I within that week or time frame, just a week before, on April 4th, that's when I moved in here, and then I finished my job over there. And then ever since then, I kind of called a number of staffing agencies, and I've been trying to contact them to try and get a staffing agency job to get back into logistics or warehouse work, even really just that general labor. Even though I do have forklift experience, I don't have years in, I don't have too much experience, but I am comfortable using a sit-down forklift, and I did get a certificate. That's a whole different thing. I still have that certificate, but it's expired. And anyways, at the moment, something that I recently found out after about a year and a half of trying to figure out why staffing agencies are so slow right now, it has something to do with the political atmosphere, in the sense that even during the last president, Mr. Joe Biden, him and obviously right now Donald Trump, as soon as Donald Trump got into office, these things called tariffs, which is like putting extra taxes on incoming imports from other countries such as Europe and China, really China, because everything's made in China, right? Those tariffs kind of slowed down the products and goods that we would receive from other countries. And because we have a much lower amount of products coming in from other countries, that affects the ports, and that's what the main keyword is. Ports, obviously, like along the coastline, San Diego, Los Angeles, Orange County, all the beach cities might have ports where we're receiving containers off of big fucking ships that carry all the goods from, across the seas. And then either they get flown to different places, or really 18-wheelers taking those trailers and driving them out to the distribution centers, which is all the warehouses. Like right here in Redlands, San Bernardino has found a whole lot, or created a whole lot of warehouses. I know Fontana, when I was over there about 6 years ago, even Rialto, they've been making warehouses, and warehousing is a big thing here in the Inland Empire. So anyways, in case you didn't know, and if you're wondering, if you are an individual like me that relies on staffing agencies to get quick work, to get a general labor job, and you're totally comfortable lifting 30 to 50 pound boxes and whatnot, palletizing, using an RF scanner, even a forklift or a slink to go inside a 45 to a 53-foot trailer and unloading those things, shrink wrapping them, and doing labels, and just doing shipping and receiving at some department in a warehouse. If it's slow for you, the main reason why is because of these tariffs. And obviously Trump totally put the hammer on it and enacted these things. And definitely, if it's super slow right now for you as well, that's the reason. You got to think about the ports. You got to think about that thing called the tariffs, which is a political term, and what this country is doing, our government, to other governments, and trying to impose taxes on shipping and receiving goods and whatnot from outside of the country. And what that is really, like I said, it's impacting the incoming goods that are coming to the country, that is making like less work for everyone here. And in the sense that, because nothing's being shipped to warehouses, there's not a big demand for jobs that require us to go inside a trailer and unload it on those docks or whatever. So anyways, that's one thing. I have a number of things that I'd like to get off my mind. Just like before, I kind of have a lot of different things that I'd like to share. Um, I had to do that quick introduction in the beginning to show you where I'm at now, because it's obviously completely different. Like how did I have a part-time job at Liberty Tax that ended, and I got from living in a homeless field, my homeless home, right, living in a tent that was fucked up and had all this garbage and whatnot around it, to getting into a nice fucking home like this. Well, that's the thing. There is rapid rehousing programs. There is halfway houses. There is sober living homes that you can get into, sometimes with help through the Salvation Army or through Family Services Association. I'll just say right now, I don't really associate myself with those particular programs. I haven't gone to the Salvation Army pretty much, except for one time when I was trying to get a hold of the lady that got me into this program, because after my job ended after tax season, I was, contacting these staffing agencies and trying to, hey, do you got any work that I can get to? And they would typically just like be fast. Employment force providers, workforce enterprises. I have fucking a dozen different staffing agencies that I have my information put into, from Colton, from Fontana. I went all the way to Ontario just to get a job in San Bernardino. That's right next door, right here to Redlands. But they were, like I said, I didn't know why the fuck it was so slow, or why I couldn't get a job even as a general laborer, like on the floor. And I'm totally comfortable starting at the bottom and then working my way up, in the sense of recertifying myself to be an actual fucking sit-down forklift driver. And that's what I've done before. I just haven't done it in a while, especially because of what I'm saying. It's been slow because of what I just said, about the tariffs and the ports being slow, and us not receiving goods from big countries like China, where everything's made in China. So anyways, kind of had to get that off my mind. I do have to go to Stater Brothers to get a couple things, because here, why I showed the kitchen is because I was able to cook my meal. And if you check out my Instagram, Christmas 28, you can see that I've been making this plate that I kind of gotten the idea from a restaurant right here in Redlands called Burger Town USA. It's an $18.63 plate, like I'll just say $18 plate, for just hash browns, eggs, sausage, and toast. 2 slices of toast, 4 sausage links, 2 eggs, and like a nice little freaking handful of hash browns. And that was an $18 plate. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Where I'm at right now, I could just make that myself. So I went and got a dozen eggs. I went and got a loaf of bread. I got a thing of butter, got the sausage links and whatnot. And then it's so easy. Just scrambled eggs, or I like my yolk still in the eggs, and I still got to figure out how to make good eggs like that. So I'm not a real good cook on that, but I've gotten it right a couple times in the beginning, and that's just a plate I'm kind of spamming, in the sense of repeating making, because it's really filling. There's a lot of carbs, there's a lot of protein, and it hits the spot. So I just got done cooking breakfast, eating breakfast, and then I've made the habit of washing my dishes right after I cook and eat. So I just washed my dishes, and after that I literally just had the idea to want to make this video, because like I said, no one's here right now. I think I heard someone, like one of the guys in the back, come back with their truck, so that's why I closed my window. I don't want anyone to hear. Again, like, perfect timing for me to do a video like this if I want to not be heard, because it's just not nice for me to talk about people behind their back. But in all honesty, the people that just left, they've had a 6-month tenure here since December. So Josh would be the manager, and he's going to obviously still be here, because this is a program that he's totally living up to, and he's like a homeless shelter coordinator sort of guy. I think I got his card. His official title would be shelter coordinator assistant, and he's a genuinely good guy. He's got these connections with the Chamber of Commerce here in Redlands, people that go through the Family Services Association to help people get jobs. not exactly like quick job placement like a staffing agency, but there's a lady named Kayla through the Chamber of Commerce that and Tanya or something like that. I don't know. I forgot her name already. Myra. Uh, I met her once, but I didn't exactly talk with her. And they're really good at, they helped me redevelop a quick uh, 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 resume, so that way I had some printouts, and I got an email with one that I could print out more in case I need to get more. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay, so far right. So I got a bunch of resumes and whatnot done, and I have my own official resume. I just need to update it, but using I think Chat GPT or AI assistant sort of thing. One of the ladies literally helped me conjure up a resume, and now I have a couple resumes. So I put one up, a few out already. But what I did recently is, and I start tomorrow. I went back all the way to Hammer Insurance on Rialto, and applied for an old sign holding job, like what I usually do. Um, Besides warehouse work, I've been doing sign holding work for a while, and I went back all the way to Hammer Insurance, the company. It's an insurance company, and I applied for my old job back in Rialto, and I would have got that particular location. However, I think the person that transferred to Fontana maybe changed their mind and went back to the Rialto location, which for me is closer since I'm in Redlands at the moment. And I still got the job. I contacted corporate. So I start my job tomorrow. Should have been on Friday, but they didn't get the sign over to the Fontana location, I guess. So they said for sure on Monday, and I called, I think on Friday as well. And they said, well, I asked what time should I show up, and they said about 10 o'clock. So from here, using the bus, which I'm used to using the bus and my bicycle, I would travel around. But I just thought about it. It's going to take me an hour and a half to get there. Now, I think I'm going to be about 30 minutes early. So, one of the only good things that I learned from my ex Katie that made me lose everything back in 2018 and 2019, she said a quote that I have written down and memorized. It says, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're fired. Or really, you could be fired. So I just kind of wanted to make sure that I got the bus times good, and I got to get up earlier than what I've been used to. I've been waking up at 10 o'clock, but today I think I woke up around 6 or 7-ish. Someone using the restroom right there, and this other door is part of the manager's, his stuff right there. So he's going to be coming in and out of my door. Thankfully, I mean, he's obviously considerate to knock before he comes in my room and whatnot, because I could just be laying on my bed playing my game or watching a movie, or really I wouldn't even hear him if I'm playing my game because I got my headset on. So, and I'm usually playing my game like that. But anyways, what I wanted to share is how this really is a temporary program for me, because in the beginning, before I got introduced to this, I had to sit down with Josh, and I had to go through the paperwork and make my initials to all the different rules that I would have to agree to. One of them being I can't smoke marijuana even outside. I guess part of the reason why this family left is because one of them was smoking meth, which I don't do. But one of them got caught doing that out in the back garage, and then the other couple, they were a married couple. They've been kind of abusing the rule, getting a little bit of leniency from the actual owner of the house, which is not exactly related to the program. He's just the owner and covers the repairs here, from what I understand. And they were just going to the garage and smoking, but apparently, maybe the wife was also smoking with her father, which got caught. The family, they were smoking fucking meth in the back, and kind of helps me understand why the hell she kind of wasn't all there saying sorry all the time and deliberately making mistakes and saying sorry. Like, anyways, like, it was just immature and dumb. But like I said, they've been here for 6 months, had their 6 month stretch, but part of the reason why they left also is because they also didn't want to pay $1,000, which is another point. After the 6 month program, if I wanted to stay here, I'd have to be making $1,000 to be able to cover rent. But that's a point that I was wanting to get to, in the sense that before I lost everything, like right now I just showed you my laptop, showed you my backpack, and I got a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't need to show and tell all the shit that I got, but I have all my hygiene products replaced. I have clothes replaced. I have my cleaning products replaced for doing laundry and whatnot. So I got a whole different little satchel bag. I got different dishes and silverware. Like I said, a whole different laptop. I never had that controller before, not that gaming headset. The phone that I have, right, is completely different. Before this one, like I mentioned in my previous video, I had a OnePlus Nord N10 5G, which I love that phone. I gotta get another one because it wakes up by itself even if the whole damn thing's turned off. And I set an alarm for a specific time, like 7 o'clock. It would turn itself on and activate that alarm, which I would like to have. So that's one thing I'd like to buy. Anyways, wish. But in a different situation, obviously I don't look as stressed out. Obviously I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable. But trying to understand both sides from management and the people that just left, because they kind of left with a bang, really dramatic. They got an extension from the owners and whatnot to go to the 3rd, but they kind of fucked up by abusing the smoking rule and doing it out there deliberately and fucking smoking meth. Like, that's just totally out. So I kind of don't have any sympathy for them when you throw that into consideration. But just a bunch of other petty shit, just leaving the doors open, not locking them like how you're supposed to, close the door and lock it and whatnot. They weren't doing that. They'd be coming up, at 1 o'clock in the morning doing laundry, and the damn thing rattles, so it's fucking loud. They'd be loud playing video games and not doing their dishes, just like what a crackhead would typically do. And what the what I was trying to get at before too, like I might be a little bit all over the place. Why was I in the field out there for 2 years? Is because typically this is a much nicer program, so I think they're going to be a little bit more selective on the people that they would let in, especially with the married couple that own the house and are management above manager here for the program, have access to the security cameras and are overseeing the whole damn thing. They also can kind of bend the rules a little bit, which you're not allowed to have pets, but they let that couple have a dogs and cats and whatnot, and their kid come over when I guess that wasn't even allowed. But he's a 13-year-old kid and just big fucking kid. At 13, heavy set, he's big, but was loud because the wife or the mom was loud. And anyways, just playing video games, Fortnite, fucking Call of Duty, Warzone or whatever, and just being loud as fuck. So I had to have my earplugs in for that, earplugs in for my roommate snoring and shit like that. That's just a whole bunch of different shit that I just don't want to deal with. Fuck. So I could easily lose my train of thought if I cover a point and I wanted to cover a different point. But like I said, if it's $1,000, part of the rules is you can't smoke weed here. Obviously you can't smoke meth or do any other drugs. He kind of covered alcohol, which I don't drink alcohol at all. My dad did, like I said on my Instagram. I will always say this, because my mom had issues and whatnot that caused me to grow up in the foster system. There's things about them that I don't want to replicate, so that way I don't end up like them. For instance, like if and when I do have children, I don't want to be drinking alcohol so that way I come home and think it's okay to beat on my mom. Like I saw my dad beat up on my mom at one point before I entered the foster system, and I was crying, my sister was crying, like what the fuck, I don't know what the hell's going on. And as it's kind of a traumatic experience in remembering when I was such a young child before the foster system thing. I don't want to be like my dad and be a domestic violent individual to my spouse, my wife, my baby's mother, right? So That's why I don't drink alcohol. My mom smoked cigarettes, and my mom also gambled. And both of my parents, I don't think, really held down a job. I remember being in a house, but I also remember being in a U-Haul and moving around a lot before I got actually introduced and kind of like permanently stuck into the foster system. And the gambling, the smoking cigarettes, I don't do. I don't gamble. I don't smoke cigarettes. I guess I do gamble if I spend $1,600 over the course of 6 or 7 years on my War Robots game on my phone, because that's a gambling thing, right? It's not. It's retarded what the fuck I've spent my money on just to get certain things in the game that was technically me buying power, but after updates and nerfs to the things that I got, they're essentially taking it away. So it's a waste. But at the end of the day, without getting too much into that particular game and topic, that was gambling. But it's video games. It's not gambling on like fucking lotto tickets or the lottery like Mega Ball or Mega Millions or some shit like you can get at liquor stores and grocery stores and whatnot. So I don't gamble. You won't catch me going to a casino dropping $100 to try and turn that $100 into something more, because obviously you have a higher chance of losing that money from the gambling concept of whatever you do in a casino. And I don't do casinos. So anyways, getting back to the money part, if this, I stay here for April 4th, 6 months in, that's October 4th. If I go all the way until that day and I don't get in trouble, which I don't plan on getting in trouble, I'm kind of sober right now. I do like smoking weed, but I don't mind not smoking weed, for the sake of having a better place. Like I said in my last video, I've been kind of sober and I haven't really spent that much money on marijuana this year. I maybe dropped the last $20 because even management, Josh said, look, he just said, you can do it, just don't let me catch you doing it, or don't let me catch you, high, so I hold my shit pretty well. If I can drive a forklift and clear a food handler's card while under the influence of marijuana, pass test, and even go to work on time and do all the work without being on my phone or talking to my coworkers or waiting for a supervisor to come around to tell me how to do my job, and I'm working harder than like fucking 5 different people as one individual, I can function, right, while under the influence of marijuana. And I just smoke a bowl anyways, but like I said, that's before I'm just trying to justify that if that's all that I do, in comparison to the things that I have done, rave drugs that are not super addictive like heroin or PCP or even meth or something like that. I mean, there's other shit out there, but I haven't done that. I don't fuck with medical drugs or like taking other people's medicine and abusing it. The rave drugs that I was about to say is shrooms. I've done maybe about a couple grams, maybe 2 or 3 eighths or something like that. I remember the count. It's around 30 to 35 ecstasy pills. I tried maybe a couple grams of cocaine doing lines and whatnot, and this is years ago. These are the things that I don't do anymore. I've had a total of 8 tabs of acid, which I think that fucked me up back in 2011 when I was attending raves more and going through college at that time, but not able to freaking really focus on my college work. So that's another thing. But back in 2010, the what caused me to really lose that was a scam, in addition to being ran over by a car, where I had my near-death experience that I've shared on Facebook, on my Facebook and on my Instagram. And anyways, that's obviously a very long time ago. It's 2025 now, and there's just been a whole lot of different things that have happened that have made me get to where I am today. Part of the reason why I've been homeless and okay with being out there in the streets and living in a field in a tent is because I had to get back a lot of the different things that I lost. My laptop being one of the biggest things. The external hard drive that has a lot of different backed up photos and all my movies and stuff that I'm trying to re-download and whatnot. I didn't have these. I had 700 movies on a previous external hard drive, and now I have about 200 because I've been re-downloading them through my phone, through Wi-Fi, through my phone service and whatnot. And I have one folder where just this year I've already downloaded 100 movies. But you know, it's movies. It's literally entertainment. So, oh, one thing that I shared, which should be a positive thing to consider about me, is, you know, the husband, part of the couple that just left. The wife was about 33, she said. I remember Jason, his name was Jason. He said he was 44. He just had a birthday, like just before mine. And they have a 13-year-old son, which was the loud guy. And I gave them some pretty good like advice to leave on a positive note, because they were being very dramatic with Josh, like raising their voices, calling him out of his name. And I was like, you know, hey, don't blow it out of proportion. Don't make the situation, you know, worse than it already is. So I have a good head on my shoulders, good mentality, good philosophies, and obviously good advice that I should, you know, adhere to myself. But part of what I said is, you know, something that I learned back in like 2016 when I was in Rialto before Fontana, is someone told me when I was refusing to pay rent, he said, don't get comfortable. So that's something I wanted to share too, is like, don't get comfortable. Although they already did their 6 months, they were just trying to take advantage of the extra little extension time, despite them being completely inconsiderate of the rules and just trying to, like, you know, sidestep a lot of the rules that you would have to abide by in order to stay here. So they got a write-up because they had weed smell coming out of the room. Like, if I had my weed pack here, which it's in my storage unit again, I had it here in the beginning, I kept it outside, so that way you might smell weed on my breath, but no one's going to be right next to me playing my game. I'm always in here alone, so no one's going to be smelling that stuff unless I'm breathing, but I always kept the windows open. So I was pretty sneaky about it, obviously, and if I'm not smoking a whole lot of weed, I only spent like $20, and was very conservative and stretched that out for about a whole month and a half. It was just maybe about 2 grams, but I had that for about a whole month and a half. I was smoking snaps, so I wasn't fucking stoned. Didn't have my bong, you know, and I didn't carry that shit in the house. It was being obviously very slick about it, but you know, even though it's legal now in 2025, programs like this are still able to pull the card where it's like, look, if they're about to do drug testing. So if I drug test positive for just marijuana, there's not only a write-up, but hey, we can ask you to leave, and then I'd have to go too, much earlier than the 6-month program that I found out this was. So that's one thing, is smoking marijuana. Oh, let me get back to what I said. Besides, don't get comfortable. You know, just consider the fact that, you know, you did have your 6 months, so you shouldn't be mad about not being able to stay here for 2 more days until the 3rd. I also said to the son, because he was being really disrespectful to his parents, which probably I can understand. But one thing, there was a couple things that I kind of wanted to say to him, and I got to say it at the very end that I didn't tell him, but I did at the very end, just before they left and took all their stuff. Was, don't be like me in 20 years after age 13, and I'm not 33 anymore. I'm now 34. My birthday was May 25th. I didn't celebrate anything, and my mom said happy birthday, but I shared that on Instagram. I'm still going to commit suicide in a year, so I got a year left to live, and I told that to them. But you know advice that I told the kid, the little teenager, don't prioritize video games and entertainment videos like movies and fucking celebrities and social media, even just entertainment, movies, YouTube, video games, even art. Don't prioritize those things, games and whatnot, over work, you know. And if one of the other key points that I said is the number one key out of poverty is work. I learned that in jail back in like 2011 or 12. So that's, you know, before I lost everything in 2014, or not really that year, but well, yeah, kind of, because I had to restart again. But before I lost everything in 2018 to my ex, Katie in Fontana that made me lose my home, all my stuff. The reason why I've been homeless and having to fucking recover everything was because of that quote. I mean, I worked for all that stuff. If work is the number one key out of poverty, I worked for everything that I had before I lost it all. Books, personal development books that I was buying off Amazon, collecting, building a little library, and my clothes, my bike, you know, just I had different everything, just like I said before in my previous video. I had a different bike, I had different clothes, I had different shoes, I had different glasses, I had a different watch, I didn't have this stuff. There's a lot of things that I have right now that I just didn't have before, but you know, I'm doing okay. Being in this situation compared to not able to shower every day or every other day when I want to, not, you know, having to go to a laundromat and take a moment, as it would be a process to do, just to grab my shower stuff and go to a church to shower. It would be a process to return all that shit to my storage unit and then take my dirty laundry and pack that all up with fabric softener and laundry detergent, and then ride over to a laundromat and then do that process for X amount of time, and then ride all the way back with the duffel bag full of clean shit and put all my stuff back in my storage unit and just operate out that. That's how I was living. Right here, I'm obviously not as stressed because I can take care of my laundry right here. I can take a shower. I can brush my teeth. I can cook my own food. Using just the $300 or the $291 that I get for food stamps, the welfare that I'm still on right now, I'm able to stretch that out a lot because I can fucking cook my own food. I don't have to go to Jack in the Box or some place that accepts food stamps and spend my money on a whole meal that I could cook myself. I'm able to cook my own burgers. I'm able to make my own sandwiches. I'm able to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm able to fucking make the plate that I just cooked this morning, that, you know, the eggs and hash browns and sausage and bread. And coffee. You know, I'm able to make my own coffee. I just can't bring my coffee in my room and play it while I play my video games, which is kind of shitty because, like, what, you know, the other point that I was saying about when I was in Fontana with Katie, my ex, over there, I didn't spend $1,000 for two of us. That would be split $500 each, right? Before in Rialto, I was spending $400 for myself. You know, before I lost that place, and I shared pictures recently on my Instagram about the bong that I had. I had this badass fucking $300 bong that I spent a bunch of money on percolators for. It was all glass on glass. I had a grinder, I had good weed, I had hemp wick, I had a lighter and whatnot, and those percolators on that bong with ice, the ice catcher, the fucking drinking water, it was clean. Now, of course, I can't do that right now. I don't have a bong anymore. You know, I just have a small little pipe. But, you know, I still keep the healthy aspect. It's just, you know, at Rialto, I spent $400, but I was able to smoke in the living room and play Grand Theft Auto 5 on my PlayStation 4. I can't do that here. I can't play PUBG or whatever, my video games, and smoke weed right here in my room. Now, I couldn't do that in Fontana, but I could do that in Rialto. So there's places that are okay. You know, if you're renting out a place, there's places that are okay with you being able to smoke marijuana. Just not a program like this, if it's based off of a sober living home and a halfway house where there's particular rules that are more or less in place for people to try and change their situation from what it was on the streets to something possibly better, so that way you can be a better fit for society. That's my opinion, but that's the gist of this particular program. And it's not a halfway house, it's not a sober living house per se, but in order to be here, you technically do have to be sober. There was just places before where I was able to even smoke at work, do my work, get paid still, go home and smoke there too, and play my video games while having coffee and cookies and my girlfriend in the same room. You know, there's just places like that that are okay with it. I just haven't had the money to be able to afford a place like that, let alone find a place like that, because, well, it's just not a common thing. And then not only that, just the main reason why I was on the streets more is because, well, what the fuck, dude? After losing all that shit, having to spend all this money recovering all the different things that I lost, that's why I haven't had enough money to get my own car. why I haven't had enough money to put towards rent anywhere, or even pay for my I think it's called restitution to my ex or something like that, so that a way I can get my current felony, which is not even a real felony. This is a bullshit charge that made me spend 11 months in jail. But I'm not going to spend $1,600 to make a felony go down back to a misdemeanor as it originally was, when my ex Katie made me lose over $6,000 worth of stuff. So why did I have to spend the majority of my money on things like my laptop, my phone, my clothes, and everything that I have now in my storage unit? Well, what the fuck, who goes out of their way? And she didn't go out of her way. She just kind of left somewhere else and let the landlord and herself, both of them said, oh, I don't know what happened to your stuff. I spent 11 months in jail, and you were still there when I lost my home. Like, we were living together for a full fucking year, having sex every day. You were sometimes smoking weed with me, but like, what the fuck? Like, I had all that stuff in my room, and at that time, like I said before, I did not have a storage unit. So if my stuff was there, and if you don't know about it, and my landlord doesn't know about it, what the fuck happened? If you're supposed to be my girlfriend that says, oh, hey, you still got me, which she never did. She never came back. She didn't help me out with recovering any of the things that I lost. She just let me fucking be out here. So why did I move on from Katie? Is because, well, you made me lose all the shit that I worked for 6 years before then, and my home, and then you didn't even come back. So after I moved on, I was going through a whole bunch of other shit, going to Ukaipa, dealing, and then I finally got a storage unit, and then in 2021 I met Casey. So Casey, to this day, still is the most beautiful woman I've ever been with. And I'll just say right now that after you hit your dream girl, you get, the love of your life, in the sense that that's the woman that you wrote down for, if that's the woman that you want to marry and have kids with. She turned out to be that person for me. If she's the best that I've ever had, and I would advise to not, settle for less than your best. If I'm not going to settle for less than my best, why the fuck would I go back to Katie? If she was nowhere near any of the most beautiful women that I've had, she would be like, I don't know. I don't even want to place it like that. It's just, I'm over it, especially after that, and fucking up my record, making me lose my home, making me lose everything, not coming back like you said, not keeping your word or having integrity or being a person of your word like myself, not being there. If the tables were turned and she ended up being in jail like that for all that time, her stuff would still be there, and she wouldn't have to fucking spend the next 5 years trying to replace everything that she had. That's what happened to me. She just did not come. She did not help me. She wasn't there. In the beginning, before I had to spend 11 months in jail, before the actual charges that she fucking pressed on me stuck, she was there picking me up from jail in and out, because I wasn't doing an actual sentence. It was just fucking slight release misdemeanors. Hey, don't go back home because your girlfriend placed a restraining order on you. So that restraining order and everything else kind of led up to all that shit, and I lost a lot of stuff. I lost my home, lost all my stuff. So why have I been homeless for the past 5 years? I still, even though I'm here, I still consider myself to be a homeless individual, because I'm not going to use this address for anything. Nothing's going to be mailed here in my name. Nothing's going to be shipped here if I buy anything from Amazon or whatever. I don't want to use this address at all. I'm not going to attach it to my bank. I didn't attach it to my Verizon wireless, my Verizon account. So I'm still using the storage unit's address. I don't have that Fontana address anymore with my new ID card. But anyways, I'm considering myself homeless still, even though I'm here, and I'm going to be here until basically October with a job now that's not seasonal. I still consider myself homeless. Why? Because I don't want to spend $1,000 to stay here. Check this out. There was at least 2 other couples in Fontana that were living with us, among the landlord lady, Alicia, and her son, Josue. There was an older couple and another couple downstairs, and then there was me and Katie. And there, by myself, I was spending $600. And I said, if I have a girlfriend, could she come and move in with me? And I talked with Alicia about it, or Alicia, and she said, yeah, for $150 more, she can come and be with you, and you can be roommates and be a couple and a roommate. So in Fontana, it was a nice ass home. Like, I'll probably have to dig up those pictures and share them on my Instagram, but I think I already did. So you could see my old home that I had in Fontana. It was a beautiful home in a nice little community, much nicer than this home in Redlands. It's nice in its own way, but it's just in my opinion nicer. Probably because it was newer. That's all. It was a 2-story home, which is my preference, but it was a big fucking home. I don't need a big ass home like that. But fucking, I was only spending $600 by myself and $750 total for 2 of us. So I said, hey, I'll take the 400, you take the 350, and that's what it was until I lost my job at Hammer or wherever the fuck I was. I think I was working for M&M Alternators and Rialto Jewelry and Loan, and before then, like, I just wasn't motivated to work in a warehouse for Katie like I was for Casey. I never made $25,000 in my life for anyone except for Casey. So when my dream girl Casey came into my life, that's when all of my energy came. I put on everything full blast. I was like, look, you're coming to me when I have nothing. You're taking care of me. You're loving me the way I want you. And that's how it was back in March or April 2021. Why did it take me less than a week to go to contact these staffing agencies and get a job full-time, work overtime? And like, I have all those pay stubs still in my storage unit in a nice little filing cabinet. I did the math and I showed and I proved with my pay stubs and all that shit. I made $25,000 after meeting Casey. She's the woman that I would love to marry. She's the woman that I would love to have kids with. She's the woman that I would turn everything around, turn everything back on, have my motivation go, so that way not only can I get my own place, a room to rent, I would get a fucking apartment. She said, look, we would already be together if you had your own place. Well, if you would stay with me the way Katie did, or the way Hilda did, or the way some other women have, fucking actually gave me a chance, I would still keep my motivation light on and fucking work as hard as I possibly can to change the situation so I don't have to have a storage unit and we both have our shit covered to the point where we can be in a place like this together. But I would still really want it to the point where I could fucking smoke my bong, play my video games, and have everything else, shower, laundry, right there, all in the same fucking place. So my own apartment, really, to the point where I could do all the things that I really wish, and that's all I really want. And then grow from there. Work with me together so that way we are a team and we're on the same page. With Katie, the longest relationship I ever had was a little over a year with her. I never cheated. I tried to get her pregnant. I literally tried. I'm glad it didn't happen. Because I wouldn't want to fucking, I would probably end up a cheater because I was watching porn with her. With Casey, she's so beautiful and no one is as beautiful as her to me. I wouldn't have to watch porn because, well, I have my own porn star and she's not a porn star. I don't want to degrade her like that, but that's just the way I think. I want a beautiful woman. I want a naturally beautiful woman, with or without glasses, with or without makeup. I have nice feet. She has perfect feet like I do. She was in shape. Even though she was a diabetic, I would work to figure out how to work with her diabetes, any other medical conditions. I think I remember she was a vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian, but I would work around that and try and do something to the point where it would make it work. I just, Katie and I were different people, and so were Casey and I, but I didn't want to work so hard as much as I did for Katie that I wanted to do for Casey, because Casey didn't have to try to be perfect to me. So, and because when I was in jail, or before I met Katie, way back when, I was listening to Anthony Robbins, and he said, write down, and I did this at one point. I had a yellow legal pad. It's just a regular like writing pad, but I wrote on that pad the kind of woman that I wanted: a Latina and or a Mexican woman, lighter skin tone, kind of looks like me in the face, shorter than me, beautiful, like I said, beautiful with or without makeup, really without makeup, beautiful with or without glasses. I didn't say that, but she looks beautiful like that anyway. Anyways, just naturally beautiful, because I'm Native American. I like to think natural a lot. I'm naturally, the way I am, if I did not have this fucking here, you know, look, do you see this line right here? I had surgery. That's from 2010 when I got hit by a fucking car at 40 miles an hour. I almost died. So I'm lucky to stay alive because way back then I asked to stay alive. You know, I have, I think on here, yeah, you can still see this right here. There was a tube sticking out of here because my left lung or my lungs collapsed. I had a broken or fractured femur. I had my aorta in my heart ripped 2 inches, so I was bleeding out internally. That makes sense as to why I was blacking out, and I didn't realize what that was. I've never had a serious fucking accident like that before. I never got hit by a car. Like I said before, my sister got ran over by 3 cars. She got mutilated. She was unrecognizable according to my aunt that visited her in the morgue or some shit like that. For me, I'm thinking I'm still alive right now to make a video like this and to have the things that I have right now, because when I was laying there on the ground hoping that someone would stop and help me out, because I tried getting up but I couldn't get up because I didn't know I had my aorta ripped internally like that. I didn't know I had fractured bones from the impact that happened. At that moment, I mean, I was getting really good at shuffle dancing, and before that I was wanting to utilize all the information that I learned from men's health magazines and men's fitness magazines and start working out. Like, I would be in much better shape right now, probably be like a little bodybuilder like Mike Chang or some shit like that, or fucking Jay Cutler. I'm not that big, you know, I'm not trying to be like Ronnie Coleman or some shit like that, but I want to be bigger, you know. I just wanted to have bigger shoulders, be bigger, be more attractive to ladies, because I wanted to be fit and strong. I would have been in the gym more, have weights, have, you know, nutrition, probably have a better job and whatnot, more respect from people, because I'd be able to beat the shit out of people with my bare hands, no weapons needed at all, which I can still do. I'm smart like that, but, and anyways, like, it's not about that. Like, I just wanted to be in better shape. I wanted to be bigger than I am right now, and I would if something like that happened. So naturally, I'm technically better than a lot of different people in many different ways, but that's me being a Native American, and also I guess me being a little egotistical too. So anyways, like, about Casey though, you know, just, you know, when I was writing about who I wanted to marry, who I wanted to have kids with, Casey turned out to be that person in real life. So if I asked to stay alive to meet the woman of my dreams and want to settle down and have kids and marriage with her, she turned out to be that woman. This is after Katie, and before I met Katie, I wrote that down. Now, I've said it before, but I don't have that document anymore because, like I said, part of everything that I lost to Katie back in 2018 and 2019 was those documents. I lost books, I lost notes, I lost things that would have been supplemental towards personal development growth that would skyrocket me past college, past business, past things that would have been able, you know, I would have been able to set myself up for complete success, you know, versus being comfortable living in a field in a tent, which is obviously not attractive to the women that are of my particular standard, such as Casey, you know, very beautiful, you know, women like that don't typically get with guys like me. So, you know, like me in the sense that they're okay with being homeless and living in a tent and being out there. But that's also part of the reason why I am the way I am right now. Why I have no friends is because, well, the people that I would typically see on the streets right there are the people that do fucking meth. And part of the reason why I didn't want to get into a program like this at all is because typically the people that get into programs like this are smoking something like meth or doing something fucking stupid that are destroying their brains and not able to function correctly, have common sense, and take care of basic things like fucking washing your dishes after you're done cooking, not leaving it in the sink or leaving trash around, and not doing basic chores to keep a nice household like this clean. You know, so I lucked out, super lucked out, because if this program wasn't in a nice place like this, that had a nice home and setting like it is where I'm at right now, like what I showed in the beginning of this video, I would have just said no and found a different spot and still be out there in a tent, you know? So I still have a tent, and what I'm planning on doing is, because my job is in fucking Fontana now, and it's like an hour and a half away on the bus, I can't be in Mentone. I'm gonna have to get another storage unit after I have enough money to do that, and then start transferring my stuff over to either Rialto or Fontana. So essentially, what I'm saying is I'm gonna have to migrate myself back over to Fontana or Rialto, really, and then find a new place to be over there homeless. But hopefully, within the year, Casey, you come back to me, you watch something like this, understand that I do have a pretty level head on my shoulder, I do have the potential, I do have the energy, and I do have the right mindset to want to turn everything around for the better. You come back into my life and actually give me a second chance. Because that's really what I asked to stay alive for. I didn't ask to stay alive to stay on the streets and be fucking working minimum wage jobs and not have a car and not have my car of my dreams, like my 2005 BMW M3, the car from Need for Speed Most Wanted. Like, that's just the car that I want. I'd probably get a truck right now because I'd be able to move shit around myself. I'm in pretty damn good shape still. I'm young. I guess I'm 34, so I'm technically young still, I guess, and I got my whole life ahead of me still. So I could do a lot of different things in 5 or 10 or 15 years. But what I'm saying is, if you don't come back because you're the woman of my dreams, that is why I'm going to kill myself. And I know people are going to be like, well, why the fuck you wouldn't want to do that? A lot of people, I shared it just last night with some of the people that I've been playing on PUBG right now. I was just asking about, the difference between a 38 special and a 44 Magnum with hollow point blank. Which one do you think would do more damage? And all of them that have the experience, I learned by asking that question, and they didn't know, was the 44 Magnum. And I already figured that out by watching a couple videos and doing a little bit of research on it, because something that I haven't disclosed before, I have before on Facebook, it kind of got me in trouble a little bit because someone tried to do it to me around my birthday last year. Was in 2016, I witnessed a little black girl, which was an actual prostitute at the time, in right by In-N-Out off 5th Street in San Bernardino. It's totally changed landscape now, but I think that sober living home is still there. In 2016, I heard a shot and a scream right after. I was setting up a movie to watch the movie called A Beautiful Mind, and there was someone on the porch outside over there in San Bernardino, and he apparently saw most of what was happening because he was on the phone with his girl at the time, and he called my name. He's like, Ronnie, someone just got shot. And I'm like, obviously, why the fuck you telling me that? But I still got up from what I was doing, set up my TV, because I was setting up to watch that movie. But I heard the wailing scream, and I heard the shot, and I'm like, okay, so I rushed out there to see if anything. As I walked through the door to get on the porch, I saw the Impala leave. Right, there was 2 people in there. There was a driver, and there was the shooter and the passenger. I'm pretty damn sure they called that girl out by name. She came, walked to the car, and he pulled it out right there and pointed it at her. And as she turned to run away, the shot went through her left rib cage and out through the right rib cage. And she didn't make it past like 20-25 feet where she tried to get to the corner to seek help. Within 5 minutes, I witnessed this girl die. And in movies, you see people, they close their eyes, they stop moving, and they're trying to be non-animate. Now, you see someone die in a movie, that's one thing, but it's in a completely different life experience to actually witness it in person within 5 or 10 feet of you. So I was next to this girl as she drew her last breath, and watching a person that's animated like myself not be animated anymore is completely different in life. So I saw someone die from a gunshot wound from a 38 special and hollow points to a little scrawny girl in San Bernardino back in 2016. And I was on parole at the time or some shit like that because I got out of jail. Like, this was before 2017. This is before I met Monica, before I met Katie, before I met Casey and Hilda and all that. But I learned, do I want a 38 special, or do I want something that's going to really do the job, and really fucking do some damage to myself? And why do I want 2? I said I want 2 so that way I can take care of my brain and take care of my heart, because I do not want the government can have whatever other organs they can harvest out of my body. If they recover my body, take it to a morgue or mortuary or something like that, and take my organs. You can have my liver, my stomach, my legs, my veins, anything else. I just don't want you to have my brain. And I also don't want you to have my heart. So why would I want two guns? Is so that way I can do this and this. So that way no heart surgeon will be able to save me from some sort of 2-inch rip in my aorta. There's just not going to be a heart there anymore. And if I have a brain, well, there's going to be a big ass fucking hole in it, because that's what I plan on doing to my skull. That way, a heart surgeon and a brain surgeon could not do anything within 5 minutes or longer to be able to save me. I'm going to destroy the two most important organs in my body, because I do not want to live here anymore, living the way that I've been living. Now, like I said, I have a year, but like I also shared on Instagram, my mom said, "Happy birthday, Ronald," or Ronnie. I said, "I'm sorry, Mom, but next year when I turn 35, I plan on committing suicide." I've said that before. I've been saying it for fucking years, and if anyone thinks I'm kidding, I'm not kidding. No one's going to be able to stop me. Not my mom, not God, not anything, because I asked to stay alive for Casey. This is a long fucking time before I met her. And why am I settling down on Casey is because, for one, if I'm with her, just like I was with Katie, I wouldn't need to fucking cheat. I didn't cheat on Katie, so why the fuck would I want to cheat on the best woman that I've ever had? I'm not a cheater. So, and then why also would I want to settle down with her? Well, if I want marriage that's not going to divorce, cheating being the number one reason to not fucking divorce, and if money is a big ass fucking issue, why the fuck would it be an issue if I'm wanting to turn everything around and make way more than $25,000 in a year to cover not only my basic needs and desires, but hers, my spouse's, and my wife's? Something else that I told Jason and his son Adam just before he left. Another thing, I was like, look, I told them, like I said, I told them I'm going to commit suicide. They're like, well, why? It's because I don't have a wife. I don't have a son. I don't have that kind of motivation. I don't have a reason to work. I don't need to work all the way in fucking Fontana. I'm fine with working just up the mountains right here with this little side guy and do whatever work he has me to do just so I can cover my storage unit rent. I don't need Verizon fucking phone service. I don't need Wi-Fi to play my video games. Like, I'm done with that shit already. I love playing my video games. I love playing War Robots. I love my Magic the Gathering. I love smoking weed and whatnot. And that's all I really need. Dancing, I don't need to go to a fucking rave and get high off of some whatever fucking drugs, ecstasy, acid, shrooms, even marijuana or whatever. I don't need anything else like that. I could just go down the street, pop in my headphones, and throw my phone on and throw my shuffle dancing music playlist on. I've done that everywhere. I've made so many videos on YouTube, mainly in Rialto, all the way in fucking Palm Springs, anywhere else. Like, I've gone to different places to make videos, trying to share my talent and whatnot. And like I said, why do I want to make any videos if those things can give me 180,000 views, but these video games, they don't really give me any views? Like, technically, because they're recent, I've gotten a lot of views. It's, people are playing War Robots, people are playing PUBG Mobile, people are playing Magic the Gathering Arena, people are playing PUBG Battlegrounds on Steam and PC. People can relate to wanting to use a controller, or swapping over from controller to keyboard and mouse, or vice versa. So there's other things that I could make content on, but I don't want to do that anymore because I can't compete with people that have been able to sit there on their ass for fucking 6 years, 8 years, and reach 2,500 levels, or 3,000 hours versus my 337 or whatever. I can't compete with people that have that much fucking time and skills and whatnot. I'm not that good. I'm not that good because I haven't been able to use my stuff as much. I've been dealing with a whole bunch of other shit because people have set me back. People have stolen from me. People have scammed me. I've gotten my education taken from me, and a home in Riverside taken from me because of 2011, someone scamming me for $1,300 that I got from FAFSA, which was supposed to be federal aid supplemental, money for my college education. I couldn't continue schooling, not because of just the accident that I endured from 2010, but also that scamming thing. and then not having my immediate family help me out when I needed a place to stay. You know, I didn't know about work at that time in 2011, how important work was and how work could get me out of poverty or some sort of situation like that. I told that to the son just yesterday as they were leaving. Look, do not focus on video games, marijuana, or shuffle dancing as much like me, because 20 years will go by and you'll be in a situation just like me and your parents. And Jason was like, he didn't take that disrespectfully. He's 44. He's got 10 years on me. I'm 34. He's 44. But he was looking at his son and saying, that's some damn good advice, son. So you got to listen to that and consider it. You know, your education is a lot more important than these video games. You know, respecting your parents when they're with you is a lot more important than your video games. He was like trying to ignore them when his mom and his dad was trying to get his attention. Like, the video games is not more important than your parents. So, you know, I would respect my mom and dad if she came to come get me, you know, but I'm just against her right now because why is my sister dead? You kicked her out. She was looking for me. She got killed trying to look for me. I still got that little image. I'll reshare that on my Instagram. You know, it's fucking bad, you know. Hey, Ronnie, come look for me. I looked for her. I didn't find out until later. She died. It was fucking sad, you know. My aunt had to come sit down and tell me, like, look, I found out just way after the fact. I didn't know. She could have been around, but no, she got ran over by 3 cars. So I'm really lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be in the situation with the mindset, with the brain, with the health that I have, the energy that I got, and the ability to still have the potential to turn everything around or make it much better. But I don't have that. Why? I don't want to do that because it's like, why would I want to do that if I'm gonna have someone that is not as good as my best? And I don't want to go back to anyone else that wasn't as good as Casey. It's either Casey or someone better. And technically, I don't even want to try and get with anyone else because then I'd be a liar to Casey. I've been waiting, patiently waiting for Casey to come back to me. $1,800 during the course of that time is one thing, but you should have been able to just come fulfill your promise at least once. Come visit me. Like, that's why I stayed out there in Mentone, the back end of Redlands, for so fucking long and defended that spot as much as I did versus all the fucking crackheads that didn't like me not dealing with them or sharing my stuff with them and just working and having money and having nicer things than them. Like, I took care of my shit, but I was always by myself, and they didn't like that I was by myself, able to handle and be somewhat whatever successful and being better than them by myself, without a car, without friends, without connections, without support, whatever, just having food stamps. I had my work. I like I said, Casey was my motivating factor, and I literally fucking kept my horse blinders on. I just focused on my work, smoked my weed, didn't fuck with anyone else, kept to myself, took care of my laundry, took care of my showers, took care of everything as best as I possibly could despite my situation, and I still didn't get no love. So the only reason why I went with Hilda when she opened up her doors to me was because it was just like this home, essentially the same fucking thing, but it was just her and I could cook, do my laundry there, you know, have a pet. I could smoke outside, just not inside the house. I could play my video games on Wi-Fi, and I shared that, you know. But at that moment, I really felt like I was cheating on Casey because I didn't want to be with Hilda. Hilda was fucking 20 years older than me at 50-something years old with 3 grown-ass kids. Like, not my kids. And I don't want to take care of some grown-ass kids like that. I don't want to take care of any child that is not mine, no matter the age or whatever, baby or not. That's just not my deal. And a point that I want to reiterate and, you know, go over again is, Casey, if you got kids, it's over for me because you gave my dream life to someone else. You gave my life purpose, my request to stay alive, to someone else. And if you do that and I find out about it, why the fuck would I need to wait until 35? Like, as soon as I got $2,000, there's both my guns and a stack of bullets, and I can take care of what I want to take care of. There's no reason for me to try and get college education. There's no reason for me to try and get a room to rent that's similar to this, that the way I want it, so that way I can do these little fucking bullshit little activities of mine. There's no reason for me to want to try and go get a car. There's no reason for me to want to fucking fix my background and try and get that cleared or run a business. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to stick around for another 5, 10, 20, fucking 30 years and end up 60 years old and not have support from no one, still my family, and just be on welfare or whatever. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work to be with someone else. I don't want to work to fucking, take care of someone else's kid. There's no reason for me to stick around. I don't even want to work just to fucking survive or live anymore and have something nice like a car or my own place or something, or both. There's no reason for me to want to work like that. So I'm going to stick to my guns and stick to my decision about what I said I'm going to do when I turn 35, and I got less than a year now. So besides this video, the only thing I really have left to do, because I'm not going to make fucking PUBG videos, I'm not going to make War Robots videos, I'm not going to do PUBG mobile videos, because people have better phones and can sit on their ass and be better at that shit. They got better controls, better whatever. I'm just not going to do those things because I can't compete with people that are able to do that. I'm not making money off YouTube. I'm not making money off of these videos. I'm not making any money off of the shuffle videos that I've done before. I'm just going to do it for the sake that I have the potential and the ability to. I want to make shuffle videos to the tracks that I haven't done yet, some of my best tracks, so I'll do that. They're going to be just raw videos with a music video cover over, so I'll have those videos. There'll be the track and then my actual shuffle video to those same tracks, and I'll use a video editing program and I'll put them together and I'll show them on my YouTube channel, this one. And then I'll also have to make a couple videos, or just like one video, another little real life video vlog on my previous channel to let people know, hey, I have this Christmas channel, Christmas 28 channel. Go check out my shuffle videos over there if you still want to see. But look, when I turn 35, I'm going to off myself. There's no reason for me to stick around for the same things that I'm saying right now, or what I've already shared. So, and there's really no one that can change my mind. I mean, maybe Gina Valentina, but she's a porn star. That's someone I really like. I just want someone slender, someone that's not going to complain about shuffle videos, shuffle dancing with me. I don't want money. I'm not motivated by money like that. I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be a billionaire. Of course, it would be nice to have, because then I'd be able to get everything I want, including family and everything like that. But just like, I don't want to do that for someone else. I want to do that for Casey. So, and I want to work hard and show her, like, look, I have not only the potential to turn this situation around, but be able to take care of everything that I've always said. Yeah, it's a lot of talk, but look at all the people that are cheating because they're not happy with the people that they're with. They're doing other things and breaking themselves apart and letting their family be separated. I do not want to have a fucking marriage that gets divorced off of bullshit cheating. I don't want to have a family that gets divorced from not having the money to be able to hold that shit together. I want to be a positive influence and be a supportive individual to my loved ones, especially my wife, especially my baby mama. And if I got kids, then I have the reason to stay. If I had a kid now, I wouldn't be thinking suicidal thoughts. I'd be working my ass off doing forklift driving right now, not sign holding where I'm stuck at the position and not able to climb up the ladder at all. I'd do something where I could actually focus on a career that can grow to the point where I have enough money to be able to start my own business, not just have a car and a place to stay, but a business too, to be able to support a family, because you really do need a lot of money in order to support not just a wife, but a wife and kids and a home. Like, there's a lot of different things that you need money for that can cover what you would see people having in movies, families, especially right here in Redlands. I go right up the street, there's homes on both sides of the fucking streets, and they got cars, nice homes, and a lot of them have little, not a lot of them, but you got people sharing that, hey, I got a baby boy, hey, I got a baby girl, and what the fuck, there's real families there. They got pets, they got that stuff, and you know what? Some of them too, they're able to smoke weed right in their fucking homes. Not here though. And it would be okay for me to want to spend the money on a fucking household mortgage or some shit like that. All the money for the bills, the electricity, the utilities, the fucking insurance for cars, everything, the insurance for the house, everything. It would make sense for me to want to fucking go big to be able to cover that, because that's what I wanted. Not this, not fucking being in a tent, not being by myself and having to deal with crackheads and accidentally take my anger out on someone that didn't deserve it, especially someone that I've loved more than any other woman. You know, I'm still waiting. I keep checking my fucking Instagram and Facebook every day. Way a lot. Every single fucking day. Like right after this, I'll be like, Facebook, Instagram, message request. Did Casey want to come back yet? That's what I'm looking for. You know, if I get any friends on Facebook, you'll know about it, because I don't want to hide anything from you. I didn't hide anything from Katie. You know, why the fuck would I want to hide anything from you? You know, so that's the thing. You know, I'm not like that. You know, and like I said about money and whatnot, if you happen to be someone that could possibly be better than Casey, okay, I'm not a gold digger. I'm not asking you to fucking take care of me financially. I can take care of myself. What I want is a woman that could just fucking love me the way I needed to be loved when I was a fucking kid. The reason why I want love so bad right now today still is because my mom never came to love me. You know, like I said before, on my birthdays and on Christmas, I didn't ask for a car. I didn't ask for a home. I didn't ask for clothes. I didn't ask for video games. I didn't ask for all this stuff, especially in the last 10 years. I've been asking for love because I want to be loved. I want to have love so that way I can have a kid and go after all the positive things that I just said. So that way I'm not thinking suicidal, and I have a reason to stay alive. I have a reason to fucking, you know, be motivated to do all the things that would make everything better, that would clear the path and set myself up for the success that I asked to stay alive for. You know, let my mom or my dad and sister, wherever the hell they are in death now, show them that, look, I stayed alive so that way I can actually have my dying wish come true. That's what I asked to stay alive for, not this. So, other than that, I had to get all that stuff off my mind. Again, I was in a perfect little situation right now to be able to make this video. I think because it's Ultra HD, it might be a lot bigger. But after this, I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel and get right back on my video games, because it's only 10:03 in the morning. I had breakfast. Shit, I got water. I just need to do a little bit of light shopping. That's just down the street. And then go to bed early, so that way I wake up early enough to get to work tomorrow early, so I can start on a very positive note. Show them what I'm made of, show them what I got, make sure I lock in my position. And they remember me, you know. I'm the best shuffle dancer in the whole fucking world. I'm the best sign holder in all of California, at least because of the amount of energy that I put forth, the effort. I love shuffle dancing. I love sign holding, because to me, that's technically not work. It's a passion. And like I've always said about passions is doing something you love to do with or without compensation. So I got it in me. And that's exactly why I'm going to go follow through with this. And, you know, I mean, I'd rather work at a warehouse because there's more hours, more time, there's potential for overtime. Plus, there's the ability to go up the ladder in either supervisor, management, or even team lead and forklifting. You know, I like being in the trenches in there because logistics turns out to be something that I enjoy as well and I'm really good at. So if I could transition into a warehouse after all this tariff shit kind of happens and one of these staffing agencies, hey, yeah, we finally got a job, do you want it? I'll probably end up switching up on Hammer Insurance, leaving on a good note so I don't close that door entirely, but going over to get the better hours and whatnot, because I just want to make sure that I'm ready to do what I want to do by the time I turn 35, and then, you know, make sure I got a will in place to leave Casey everything that I've accumulated. Like, I want to give her my bicycle, I want to give her my laptop, I want to give her my clothes and all my notes and all my everything that I have in my storage unit, and plus any extra money, everything, because that's what I promised her, and that's what I want to do. And I don't want to start over fucking 4 years waiting for someone else to do what I've asked her to do. You know, she's got the ability. I understand that she's been doing she's got an addiction to something that I'm not completely aware of, like Xanax or something like that, but you know, she has the ability to change everything just like everyone else does. You know, if you make the choices to fuck up, you know, that's on you. But obviously, there's people out there that care for you, you know, and I really care for her and I wanted to be here. So, you know, I never gave up on you, Casey. I've been here loyal to you and I've been here waiting for you, and I've, you know, you're the woman that I asked to stay alive for, and you know, you're the woman that I want to settle down with, have that marriage and have that family with, and I have the ability to show you that I can make a marriage that won't divorce, and I have the ability to show you that I have the ability to make a family that won't separate, because that's what I asked to stay alive for. That's what I want to do, to give my father a second chance, to give my sister the chance to do something that she can't do anymore because she's dead now. She can't have kids. She can't have family. And I'm not going to go back to my family without something like that I really have always wanted. So with that being said, I'm going to close right there. If I got other things that I want to get off my chest, I'll make more real life video logs. Hopefully not this long. This was, goodness gracious, I think it was an hour or some shit like that. So I say an hour? Yeah, it's an hour and 25 minutes. I basically made my own little movie. So, but that's everything that I kind of wanted to share, exactly the way I wanted to share it. So other than that, my name is Ronald Lee Gatewood Jr. I got my Facebook and I have my Instagram at Christmas.28, I think. And I'm still Chief Cloud 28 on my previous channel, but it's all kind of mixed up with the names there. But right now I'm calling myself Christmas. So Merry Christmas, you know, Christmas out. Thank you for your time, and I guess just wish me luck, and hope that girl comes back into my life to make me want to stay, because obviously no one wants to, hear about suicide. It's not a really common thing, and it's obviously very sad that people would want to take their lives away prematurely. But despite how good things may seem for me right now, no one knows the pain that I've been enduring my entire life. There's pain in my heart right now because I don't have emotional support at all. Financial support, I just have food stamps, and I got to work for everything myself. I don't have family, and I just choose not to have friends because there's no one that could relate to me in my story, when I'm done with this program, I'm going to go right back on the streets and live in a tent. I'll have work. I'll be able to work and take care of the basics and whatnot, but that's what I plan on doing. So I don't want to spend $1,000 for things that I used to be able to have for less and not have them here. And yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the world, but I kind of really don't care, because just how I feel the world has treated me. So I don't know, without getting depressed or even crying again, I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. And I do wish you all well, and I hope this world has people that want to impact it in a positive way, like I've always wanted to. But bad things do happen, and I just hope that those bad things don't happen to you. So you guys take care, and again, thank you for your time, and have a good 2025. Christmas out.